What's going on, my boys? Echoes of Chaos is finally here. We have a new mini box that's going to be available here in the next couple of days. Going to be available on the 30th of August, and I wanted to just give you guys a quick breakdown and talk about all the different cards that we have available here. So what's going on today, guys? I'm Dan, if you didn't already know, and today we're going to take a look at some of these new cards that we have coming into the game. So one of the first cards I wanted to look at is one of the first ultra rares that they have available, which is Spear Dragon. So Spear Dragon is an interesting card because it's a level 4 dragon monster that can inflict piercing damage that also has 1900 attack. So in Duel Links, that's going to be pretty strong with Mountain. That's going to put them at 2100 attacking through defense. So that's going to give you a strong beast stick that can that basically can take half life, a little over half life in one go. So I think like this is a pretty strong card, and if people are playing like stray lambs and stuff, it's not gonna be good. Kind of ironic I came out with that stray lamb deck and this card comes out. This card is definitely gonna be the bane of people's existence. I can definitely see it causing a lot of problems going down the line for folks. All right, so the next card I want to talk about is Silent Magician level 8. That's the other ultra rare here. And this card can't be normal summoned or set, and it must be special summoned by tributing a silent level 4. And if you tribute the silent level 4 due to the effect, this card is unaffected by your opponent's spell effects and it's 3500 attack. So will it be worth it to level all the way up here? Maybe. A lot of spell effects do work in the game. Well, a lot of spell effects are very prevalent in the game, so I'm not really sure how relevant it's going to be to level this guy up, but it'll be interesting. I'm sure someone will find a way to play it and try to break it, but probably I don't really foresee that being like such a game-breaking combo unless someone finds a short and easier way to do it. Again, this is just my first impressions. So another card, Greenkappa. I can taste the memes coming on with Greenkappa, but this is actually a really good card for us in Duel Links. It's a warrior monster, level 3. Says flip, target 2 speller traps on the field, destroy those targets. That's pretty good. So it's not optional, it's mandatory, so you can only activate the effect if there is 2 actual cards on the field. If there's only 1, I'm sure that you won't be able to activate the effect, but it says target 2 spell or traps on the field, so that means yours and your opponent's. So don't set that with 2 in the back row and end your turn, because you will lose your 2 cards. And Ultimate Insect level 7 is a super rare that we have, another level up monster. I guess they're avoiding dropping in Horus level 8 or armored dragon or hard armed dragon. No, armored dragon. I think his name was Armored Dragon. I guess they're avoiding bringing in those real level up monsters, but they are messing around with Silent and Ultimate Insect. But whatever. If this card special summon off of Ultimate Insect level 5, this card is gonna, I guess, drop all your opponent's monsters attack and defense by 700, and it's 2600 attack. So basically, if you were a 3000 attacker, you'd be at 23. So the Ultimate Insect could kill it. Maybe not all that great. And then looking up the next card here is Vortex Trooper. So this card is pretty interesting. Is when this card is normal summon, you can shuffle 2 cards from your hand into your deck and then draw 2 cards, and when this card is destroyed, you can draw 1 card. I have a really good idea for what kind of deck this needs to be in, but I'm gonna hold that back and keep it a secret and reveal it when I show you guys the deck. Hopefully coming up pretty soon. Picking up right where we left off, I didn't have to change my shirt or anything. We're gonna go right into the next card. So the next card here is Umiraku, or Umirakam. I used to call it Umiraka back in the day. But this card lets you boost all water monsters by 500 attack, and you lose 400 defense. So this card probably won't see as much play, or will probably see as much play as Molten Destruction. I could see someone really playing this card in the Mako deck and running it with their 1700 beat sticks, Shark gets plus 500. That's 2200. That's disgusting. Under Starboy 27. So I can see people really playing this, but you know, who knows, you know, down the line, like what people are gonna play. Now this card I think is gonna actually get some play. Rising Air Current basically does the same thing for wind monsters as Umiraka does for water monsters. So 500 attack, minus 400 defense. Wind monsters do have some pretty strong monsters. I can really see this. A Sword Priest with this 2200 kills basically the entire board. Good card. Emergency Provisions is another card that I think is going to be really strong. In the hand list, of course, that's like a giveaway card that you might want to use if you need to just clear stuff off of the board, make room. Ninjas might be another card where you might clear things off the board. It might be a little too slow for that, but Emergency Provisions I think is going to be a card that you might see combos, maybe a couple shenanigans. Spell Power Grasp. Now this card is interesting because it basically works as Gather Your Mind, but instead of just going to get another copy, it puts a token on a card that can receive puts a spell counter on a card that can receive a spell counter. Search your deck for another one, put it in your hand. So basically if you play this on a card that collects spell counters for every time a spell is played, you'll collect 2 counters. So that's really good too. I think this card does have a lot of potential going forward. Limit Reverse is another card that I think is gonna be a great card. It's basically a Call of the Haunted for cards that are under 1000 attack. So basically you can flip and bring a card back that's level 2 or lower. That's under 1000 attack. I can't think of many cards off the top of my head that just, oh my god, I want to just summon a monster under 1000 attack. But I can think of cards like Red Eyes Black Shit, Kaiba Man, that could be really disgusting. Bringing those back multiple turns, turn after turn. Sinister Serpent. Now I was really excited when I first saw that card on the list. I got extremely hyped, but I read the text and I think the card has been errated from the time where I used to play it, and I used to play it way back in the day when it first got banned. So during your standby phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can add it to your hand. Also banish 1 Sinister Serpent from the graveyard during your opponent's end phase. You can only use the effect of Sinister Serpent once per turn. So basically you can use Sinister Serpent's effect once per turn, and if this card's still in the grave at the end of your opponent's turn, banish Sinister Serpent. So you're not going to be able to basically use Sinister Serpent as an infinite surplus, an infinite resource in your hand, and have Treeborn Frog an infinite resource on the field. You're not going to be able to do that. Would have been nice though. Bistro Butcher. Now this card, decent. I start choking on bullshit as soon as I said that. This card is like okay, to be honest. But it's a Fiend level 4, 1800 attack, and when it deals damage, right? Yeah, when it inflicts damage, your opponent draws 2 cards. Well, I mean, it might be good for mill, but not really anything else. But it's okay. Silence Magician level 4. So basically, I forget how these cards leveled up. You have, every time your opponent draws a card, you put a counter on this. Once it gets 5 counters during your opponent's standby phase, you can level it up to silent 5. To me, it's not that worth it. For each counter, I believe he gets 500 extra attack for each spell counter. So he could get 2500 attack plus that. So, you know, he could be at 35, and then he could evolve to his next level. Not really all that great. Ultimate Insect level 5. I remember back when I used to play this card, I used to use it exclusively as a combo piece, and I didn't use the final form. So I need to read this to see what's up. Okay, so basically the reason why I used to use this card is because he would reduce all your opponent's attack by 500 points, and he was easier to summon. All this card has to do is survive a turn and he can level up, which is the same as the other cards that are on his chain. So survive 1 turn during a standby, easily level him up, weaken all monsters by 500 points. It's pretty good. If you can get all the way to 7, I guess that'd be disgusting, but I doubt you'll be able to get to 7 in this format. If you are, I mean, if you do, that's a miracle. All right, Gemini Lancer, not gonna be that great a card. It's a level 4, 1800 Sea Serpent water monster. GEMINI effect to give it piercing damage. Not all that great. I don't really see this card getting any kind of play at all. I don't see this card getting any love. I think it's going to be like one of the cards that just, you'll never see it. Deep Diver. Now this card is interesting. Shenanigans will ensue. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can search your deck for one monster and put it on top of the deck. So any monster. So Deep Diver, people are going to be getting loose with Deep Diver. So get ready for that. Alchemist of Black Spells. Once per turn, you can change this face-up attack position monster you control to defense position. Place one, well, face-up defense position. Place one spell counter on a face-up monster that can take a spell counter basically, and that's it. Decent. A little slow, but decent. I will have to see. Slushy. Now this is an interesting card. I've never seen this card before, so you know, I'm looking forward to trying it out, honestly. So this card says when this card is normal summoned, you can send one Slushy from your deck to the graveyard. If you have 3 copies of Slushy total, either banished or in the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to target one level 5 or higher Sea Serpent monster in the graveyard and special summon that target. You can only use the effect of Slushy once per turn. So basically this card, if you have all 3 mighty pieces, you can summon an ultimate beast. Shenanigans will ensue. All you need is Screech, Slushy, probably something disgusting. I can really see people playing Slushy, Screech, Treeborn Frog, and other water monsters and going absolutely water bananas. What's that? Yeah, got my glasses because it was hard to read? No, that's not what I did. On to the next one. The proper card that I need, GAGAGIGO. This card requires nothing to read except for the flavor text. This young evildoer used to have an evil heart, but by meeting a special person, he discovered justice. Yeah, I think these glasses working pretty good, but I'm not saying I went to go get them because it was hard to read. Anyway, GAGAGIGO is going to be a pretty good card, especially if you want to run Beatdown Mako. It's going to be a level 4, and with the Legendary Ocean, he's a level 3. Pretty strong level 4 card. We have the Dark Blade Fusion, Dark Blade, the Dragon Knight, which means we're going to get Pitch Black Dark Dragon at some time soon in this set actually. Each time this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, select up to 3 monsters from your opponent's graveyard and remove them from play. I always used to wonder why they made this card. I guess it was for Duel Links. Here we go, another card, Level Up. So this card is basically gonna skip all the requirements for your level up monster and just take it to the next level instantly. I think this would be a really good card if people are playing this with Silent. 3500 Silent monster with 1 level up is pretty strong, unaffected by spells, so that might actually change the game. Pop-up is an interesting quick play, so this means that if your opponent has a card in this field zone, you can activate pop-up and put a field spell card in your zone. I think that's really strong. It should be interesting. Should see some dank shenanigans with that. Silent Burning. During the battle phase, if you control a silent monster and you have no cards in hand, glasses ain't working. If you have a silent monster and you have more cards in hand than your opponent, each player draws until they have 6 cards in hand. The activation and effect cannot be negated. You can banish this card from the graveyard to add 1 silent monster from your deck to the hand. Okay, I take it back about the silent cards. We might see a silent uprising here. Unified Front. This is pretty good. Discard 1 monster, then target 1 face-up monster on the field. If its attack and defense of basically the monster you discard is the attack and defense of the card that was selected. So it should be pretty interesting to see what happens here with this kind of card. I can see it working in amazing ways for both offense and defense, but it should be pretty interesting to see what happens. So you can see the Blazing Apache and Invader of Darkness versus GAGAGIGO and a Marauding Captain. It's just an interesting picture in general. I thought I'd bring that up. Pitch Black Dark Dragon. This is TLDR. It's a Dragon Union monster that has a bunch of fusions and other stuff. Not anything to get excited about, really. TLDR Dragon Union monster that's not really something to get excited for. I have a feeling I might have to eat those words down the road, but hey, it's what it is. I'm skipping it because it's too tiny to read. Select one face up level monster, and then you can basically drop him down. So it's similar to level up, but you know you're going down a level. Ultimate Insect level 3, the first level of the Ultimate Insect chain. If it can stay on the field for one turn, it gets to evolve. Now HYDRA Viper. This is a pretty interesting card. It says each time this card declares an attack, you contribute one aqua monster. This card can attack 3 times during each player's battle phase. That is interesting to say the least. So I'm sure shenanigans will ensue with this card. Submarine Frog is a level 2 aqua monster with piercing. Being level 2, you get a lot of different advantages. There's even a combo that Konami uses with this card in the instructional video, which I didn't get a chance to watch fully. I instantly ran and began to create this. And then Imiraku, not sure what this is, but it says when this card is destroyed by your opponent, either by battle or card effect, you can, and it goes to graveyard of course, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, and if it's a water monster, draw a card. That is pretty dang good. That is pretty, that's almost sexcellent. So obviously water is getting a boost here. Obviously Mako's getting a boost. If you play Mako, this might be the pack to spin your gems. Home stretch. All right, boys, so now we're at the Dark Blade. The Dark Blade is interesting because he's a level 4 Dark Warrior. I don't think we've had any level 4 Dark Warriors yet. Normal monster, so it's pretty good. And you can use them with the rest of the Dark Blade archetype that was just released. Spiral Serpent, level 8, Sea Serpent 29. Slushy target. The Graveyard in the 4th dimension. Add 2 level monsters in the graveyards to your deck and shuffle it. So I guess recycle some level up guys. Level modulation. Basically special summon a level monster from your graveyard, ignoring summoning conditions, but your opponent gets to draw 2 cards. You know, typically you wouldn't want to do that, but if you did it for something like a Horus level 8, you know, that might be beneficial if you had cards to stop other things. Evil Blast. Activate when your opponent special summons to activate only when a monster is special summoned to your opponent's side of the field. Equip it to the monster and it gains 500 attack during each of your opponent's standby plays. Inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent. That's kind of cool. Cash back. When your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect by paying their life points. When your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster card effect by paying their life points, negate the activation, and if you do, return it to the deck. By paying their life points. What? When your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect by paying their life points, negate the activation, and if you do, return it to the deck. Okay, let me double check that thing, because that sounds weird. Yes, it's by paying their life points. I don't get it. By paying their life points. What? How many life points do they have to pay? All the life points? The rest of their life points? When your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect by paying their life points. By paying their life points. Negate the activation, and if you do, return it to the deck. I'm not even sure what that means, but I'm sure we'll figure it out once we start playing it. Graceful Tier. Add 1 card from your hand to your opponent's hand, gain 2,000 life. Interesting. And the final card, Massive Morph. Target 1 face-up monster on your opponent controls. Its attack and defense becomes double, but it cannot attack life points directly. Seems pretty good. So in terms of this entire set, I think it's a pretty decent set. I feel like there's some really strong cards in it, and at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you to make the decision if you're going to spend your gems on it or not. I think it's going to be worth buying gems and maybe even worth buying packs. I know I will, but you know, let me know what you guys think moving forward, and will you guys be picking up some packs from Echoes of Silence, or will you just remain silent? But as always, my boys, keep it day.